What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Dugas, coming at y'all with another episode of Dropping Dimes with Mr. Dugas. And today I'm going to take a look at the Saturday's game between the LSU Tigers and the 16th ranked Kentucky Wildcats. I'm going to just talk about the keys to the, I'm going to just preview the matchup and talk about the keys to success for LSU. Before I get into this video, for everyone, if you want to give me a follow on my social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I'm going to have all that information down in the description box. May not always get a chance to respond to questions and comments on these videos, so feel free to DM me. And whenever I get a chance to, I'll get back at you. Come holler at your boy. Also, if you're a Madden 22 player on Xbox One, I'm going to have my Xbox One gamer tag down in the description box also. Y'all gonna hear a beeping noise throughout this video. I do apologize for the inconvenience. All right, man. Looking at this matchup, the LSU Tigers versus the Kentucky Wildcats. First, we're gonna start off taking a look at the Kentucky Wildcats, the opponent. They coming in 5-0, beat the Florida Gators for the first time at home. I think it was 32 years, I want to say, the last time they beat the Florida Gators at home. I mean, the place was jumping, place was lit. I mean, they even had Waka Flocka Flame in the building. Just overall great win. This team is 5-0. They ranked 16 in the country. A lot of people felt like, including myself, felt like the SEC East was gonna come down to Georgia versus Florida. Well, very well look like it's gonna come down between Georgia and Kentucky. You look at them on the offensive end. They got Levis transferred from Penn State. He's been out there. He's been solid. He's been making some things happen. Running back Rodriguez is another key player for them, and they got the dynamic, explosive wide receiver. But he's a guy that they try to get the ball in his hands in Robinson. As he had a really really nice touchdown catch and run against the Gators last week. Rodriguez also had a touchdown rush. And then when you look at the defensive side of the ball, it starts with Pascal. On the line, he was an absolute terror last week. Blocked the field goal, which led to Kentucky picking it up, catching it in the air, and running it back for a touchdown in a very, very critical turning point of that game. With Mark Stoops, one thing about them, Kentucky has been a solid program over the last few years. They never quite contended for an SEC East championship, but I think they've been, solid. You look at last year's NFL draft. Kelvin Joseph, who was at LSU, was turned out to be a second round pick for the Dallas Cowboys. You look at Jamon Davis, who was a linebacker I liked a lot. Ended up being a first round pick with the Washington football team. Then a couple of years ago, you had Josh Allen being a top 10 pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So this team, they've been putting out some good defensive players. They got some underrated talent over there. Then on the offensive end, as LSU fans, we all very aware of their starting left tackle, Darren Rosenthal, was our starting left tackle last season, not just last season, but in spring football. He transferred over to Kentucky. He's their starting tackle right now. So obviously, it's a little bit of familiarity there as far as him knowing what to expect from the defensive lineman, and the defensive lineman and their coaches know what to expect from him. But you got to give Kentucky Mark Stoops a lot of credit. They see his name starting to pop up a little bit for the bigger potential openings out there in NCAA football. I just feel like he's done a good job over there at that program, especially considering that they're mostly a basketball school. So for you to bring a lot of excitement, because I watched film and looked at the game Saturday, and I mean, that place was live. Like that place was really live and really jumping. And you got to give Mark Stoops, and his coaching staff a lot of credit for bringing excitement to the football program of the Kentucky Wildcats. Then you look at the LSU Tigers, man. And look, right now it's not good. We coming off of a very a bad, just tough gut punching loss to the Auburn Tigers at home. Our first time losing to Auburn at home since 1999. You know, 22 years it's been since we lost at home to Auburn, and a game where LSU to me just LSU was more talented. It's just that LSU is just historically bad on the offensive line. LSU cannot block nobody. LSU cannot is one of the worst teams, not just in the SEC, but in the country in running the football, which is absolutely unheard of. When you think about all the great LSU running backs that we've had, and for this team to not be able to run the football at all is absolutely alarming. Um, Max Johnson has been okay. He's not been great, but he hasn't been bad. Keishawn Butte is the pretty much the main, him and Jack Bech and the young receiver. Well, the receiving core as a whole, led by Keishawn Butte, they have been a bright spot on this football team, and they have given us some type of hope, not just for this season, but for next season, as all those guys are underclassmen. But when you look at LSU's offensive line and the running game situation, it's horrible. It's terrible, and it's quite embarrassing for a team like LSU to not be able to run the football at all. Then you look at the defensive end. The defense, it's if they just could have tackled like Saturday night, they would have been all right. Like Bo Nix made plays happen by getting out of sacks and being Johnny Manziel esque and getting out of sacks and making plays down the field. Especially the big one late in the first half. LSU has a 13-0 lead. It's 4th and 2, and he scrambles away, runs around, gets out of a couple of sacks, and throws a touchdown pass down the field, which was a turning point in that football game. You bring them to the ground there, it's still a 13-0 game. At worst, going into halftime, potentially more, because LSU would have had, some time, a little bit of time to probably do something before the half. So if the defense just tackles, they actually been okay the last couple of weeks, with the exception of, the last drive against Auburn was bad, as Auburn just went right down the field. And the fourth quarter against Mississippi State was bad, as they nearly got back into it and had an opportunity to really put a lot of stress on us at the end of that game. For LSU, is bad right now, and it's not just bad with the football team. You look at Coach Ed Orgeron. It's a lot of talk now. It's a lot of chatter. I've mentioned that I think in the stretch of 5 games between this one versus Kentucky, Florida at home, Ole Miss on the road, Arkansas and A&M at home. Out of those 5 games, I feel like he has to go at least 4-1 to save his job, to have real job security going into next year. And this is a big one. This game is big for Coach O as far as his status with the program. LSU is going to be all right, I feel like, going forward regardless. But this game is for Coach O as far as you got to win back the fan base. You got to win back the boosters and everybody that wants you gone. And then you have the latest incident where last night at his coach's show, they have a caller call in, and everybody is well aware of the personal situation, which is his personal life, but Coach O's apparent interest in younger women. And the caller called and said something about my 20-year-old sister's in the building, and can you not do stuff with her, basically. And, it was an immature call, obviously, and you're going to get stuff like that when you're not winning football games, unfortunately. But what disturbed me about the whole situation was, Coach O made a comment like to say, people like that, we have a fishing pole for you in the bayou. When, Chris Blair, the LSU voice who narrate, runs the coach's show, he cut off the call, he ignored it and tried to talk about the Kentucky game, but Coach O felt like he had to elaborate to what that guy said. And it's things like that that bother me. Is that in the UCLA, the guy with the shirt and all this other stuff, like you don't have to respond to all this, man. Like this is you have to be the face of this program, and being the face of this program means you got to set an example and you got to lead the truth. Now, I get it. He's human. He's not going to be perfect. But at that job, like there's a lot of, look, let's be honest. There's not, maybe he could turn around. We'll see. We giving him that opportunity. But let's be honest, there's people out there that would love to be the head coach of the LSU football team and that are more qualified and capable of doing that. So can I tell you who those people are? I don't know, but I'm telling you they're out there. And so for Coach O, you gotta, focus more on football, man. Like leave all this petty stuff alone. You're losing. People are gonna come after you. That's just the nature of the job of the business. But when you look at this game, man, the keys to success for LSU is offensively is it's just, I mean, they gotta run the football. Look, LSU gotta run the football. Like they somehow, some way they have to run the football. Honestly, what I don't understand is every time I see Corey Kiner out there running the football, he actually looks solid. Like usually the first guy don't get him down, but for some reason we don't really put him out there to run the ball like that. Like Ty Davis Price, with all due respect to him, he's not gonna make nobody miss. He's not gonna run over nobody. He's a give him a hole and watch him run type of running back. Corey kind of looked like he got he brings a little, I'll make you miss, I'll create my own hole type of runner. And with a bad offensive line, that's the type of running back that LSU needs back there. So LSU got to establish a run game. It's on the road. It's going to be somewhat of a hostile environment. Those people are feeling good over there. I mean, LSU has to establish a run game. Like we can't expect Max Johnson on the road to go back, throw the ball every single play, and expect us to win this game and to put up a bunch of points when you have a guy like Pascal on the D line that nobody on our team could really block. Then when you look at the other side of the ball, LSU, look, I think LSU has a chance. Kentucky scored, but I don't think Kentucky is the most explosive offensive team. They got like a couple of players that can make some things happen. But the key to LSU defensively, is just is tackle. LSU just got to tackle. Like, I don't feel like Durante Jones the last 2 weeks game plan was bad. It's just the players like have to tackle. They're in position. They're right there. You ain't been seeing as much busting coverage as you did earlier in the season. They just have to tackle. Like when people are right, when a runner is right there in your grasp, you have to grab him and take him down to the ground. So for LSU, the keys to success offensively is finding a way to establish a run game. Defensively is tackle the man in front of you. When he's there, bring him down to the ground. That's what it comes down to. Look, man, this game is a toss up. LSU could win it. LSU is more talented, okay? Overall, top to bottom, LSU is the more talented football team. But Kentucky is playing better football right now. Kentucky is more confident right now. Kentucky right now has a better coaching staff. It's bad at LSU. With all due respect to Kentucky, it's bad at LSU whenever Kentucky is saying, don't let this trap game get you. Like, hear me out. Kentucky football is calling LSU a trap game. That's how you know things have gotten bad. Coach O, we got to get it together this week. We have to get it together. Like, you cannot lose this game. It's bad enough going into it. Kentucky is saying this could be a trap. This is a trap game. So LSU has to go out there. LSU has to use their talent. The coaches have the coach. You hearing Jake Peach saying they have no confidence. Man, you got to make it happen, man. Either these guys in the front got to block, these running backs gotta get yards, or you got to put new people out there and try new things. You can't just keep doing the same thing over and over and being cool with the same results. So LSU got to switch it up, man. Overall, I think LSU could win this game simply because they're more talented, and Florida is coming off of such an emotional high on beating their hated rival Florida. But LSU got to run the ball and get people to the ground. But with that being said, that's all I got for y'all today. Appreciate y'all checking out the video. Hit the like button for your boy. Give me a subscribe. I'm going to have LSU and NCAA content throughout the year. Also content from my other teams you see up here. This Sunday and every Sunday from 10 a.m. Central to 12 p.m. Central, I got a weekly radio show that I co-host with host Mike the Bandit called Big Time Sports Talk. Y'all download the ESPN 1420 app and listen to the show. Got a lot of LSU talk on there. It should be a lot of fun. And also on Mondays and every Monday from 6:15 p.m. Central to 7:15 p.m. Central, I'm gonna do a live YouTube Q&A. Y'all come on there, ask me anything, tell me anything. I'll answer your questions, respond to your comments, and give you a shout out on the live. Y'all should join me. It'll be some good stuff. Until then, y'all have a blessed one. Go Tigers.